now there's some people. All right. I went live a minute ago and there's nobody there. Thanks for showing up, you guys. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. I tried to do a stream just a minute ago, but I don't think it worked properly. So here we go with the second stream, and here we go. First of all, this is February 2nd. So this is yesterday's. And while that loop is playing, I'm going to take a moment of time here to thank you guys for taking a moment of your precious time, even in replay, to be a part of this special family. Okay. If you make it to the spiritual report at the end of this show, you will indeed find out how precious this family is and how precious you are to me. Okay. Now we got that done. There's your son. All right. On the 2nd. And we're going to come back up a little bit here. You can see there's no data for the last week out of the Soho. So we're relying on stereo A here. And here's the third today. Okay, not much activity. You can see one little object coming out there with a bunch of plasma on it. Okay, so not much to see right there, but still some of our activity around the sun right now. Let me bring this down a little bit. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to back up here a little bit, back on out of this, back to the second, and we're going to go frame by frame through the second because there was some stuff in there that we can look at really quick. Let me just kind of slide this down, capture the opening frame here. Oop, that was not close at all. All right, let's pull this down a little bit so I can access these buttons. Oh, so it doesn't go all the way back to 0. All right, so we're missing some data here too. So here we are at the second, starting out with our first frame at 353, okay? And this is our bigger event right over here that's coming off the side of the sun. Let me scroll down and pluck away at this. Come on now. For some reason, I'm not getting the button right tonight. All right, well, as we continue through this here, this mouse, something pulling on the cord, aha. So let's back up a little bit. Go marching through this again. Okay, so just go ahead and play that loop there. Scroll it down a little bit so you guys can better view for you. All right, there we go. All right, so there's your activity for the last couple of days on the sun, and we don't really have our regular instrument, so not the best details that we get from this old satellite stereo A. All right, moving on now. Let's get over here to your solar ham. Here's our title here. We have had this series of M flares, okay? And when we come up here, you can see we've had a bunch of them. So let's get up here and start off at the top. Our solar flux index is in the red, okay? We're at 221 right now. That's very elevated. We're up 5 more points. Sunspot numbers, we're at 153. We're down 3 spots and areas in the green. But let's pop this open. Scroll this and zoom in. Okay, so you can see your sunspot region. This complex area is very complex. It's a sunspot complex more than just a sunspot region that we're used to talking about. So we have a sunspot complex going on with multiple polarities all over the place. We got 3982, 77, 76, 78, and 3981. Okay, so all of that all scattered all over the place. And then something else kind of growing in intensity right over here. Okay, so there's your Earth-facing disk for the side for today. Okay, so there's multiple configurations that it could cross, blue to red, red to blue here, that way, this way. So multiple configurations, making this whole region very dangerous. Okay, now as we pull back here and come over to our GOES X-ray flux. Oopsie, let's see how fluxed we are. There we go, GOES X-ray flux today. Scroll down just a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, very bumpy ride since, 2 days ago. All right. It started off here with multiple M flares right on the cusp, multiple M flares today. And then we just had another M flare. So no surprise there. And a secondary one right here too as well. And there's a little bit of peak going into tomorrow. So let's back up here and go over to the thing here and see if we can capture stereo A here. It's only got 1 frame, never mind. All right, well, we can't look into the future too far there on stereo A. So there's your GOES X-ray flux for the day. Very bumpy ride, so everybody hang on. Here comes a bunch of energy from the sun. Okay. All right, now coming over to our geomagnetic forecast. All clear for the next 3 days. And then they're calling for 20% chance of X flares. I think that's probably a good number because we almost had an X flare today, this M8.8. Okay, and then we're going to go through these M flares. We had a 2.6, a 4.3, 6.1, 2.5, 3.1, 8.8, 4.1, 2.751, and 3.0. So all M flares. So we've no X flares, but a big series of M flares. Meanwhile, your auroras looking normal. What is up with this mouse tonight? Our usual activity actually kind of faint. You can see it's, faint on this side over here. So your auroras are pretty calm tonight. You can see your KP is quiet right here. So if we pop that open really quick, you can see we came up from, KP4 we were running a couple of days ago, all the way back down to the floor at almost KP0 right there. Let me get this mouse pad or something here. Let's see if this will help. Okay, so yeah, we've had a little lowering right here where it almost went to 0, but just managed to kind of stay there. And then KP1 since, so it's been really quiet. But we got a round of energy coming this way here pretty soon. All right, so let me pull on back from this. Actually, let's get into our sunspots now. We have that complex area, and we have 3 beta gammas and a beta gamma delta in there. So 3981 being the beta gamma delta, and then 78, 77, and 76 are all beta gamma and stable. Meanwhile, the beta gamma delta is still growing. Okay. Now, a solar flare measuring 8.8, M8.8, was just detected around AR 3981, peaking at 358 on the 3rd. This is the strongest flare yet from this region in terms of peak X-ray flux. The flare itself was impulsive and will likely not be the source of a noteworthy coronal mass ejection. Okay, more flaring will remain likely around the region as it continues to expand in both size and magnetic complexity. All right, so there's your big old sunspot region, roiling and boiling. You've got a bunch of those moons and satellites and bigger objects that interact. So their magnetic fields are probably causing interaction with the sun, causing these sunspots to roil and boil and do their activity. All right, let's do some track lacking since we're lacking the tracking. Nothing really on this one they're showing. Yeah, just a small one going away. Let's open this one really quick because we do have an Earth impact on this one. So let me just get this going really quick. You see our peak over here at the end here. So as soon as that loads up, there we go. Okay, so we've had multiple M flares, and some of this ejected, was Earth facing, and now we're going to get a CME coming at us. It looks to kind of just graze us. It's hitting us north and south square on, but just the side of it kind of grazing us here, but north south it's right in the middle. So we probably will get a little impact from this, and they're calling for midday on the 7th. Okay, so that'll come in to play on our weather report later on. Moving on, let's pull up spaceweather.com, Dr. Tony Phillips here. Boom. Okay. So, strong Earth-directed solar flares, fast-growing sunspot 3981 is directly facing Earth and crackling with strong solar flares. An M8.8 explosion on February 3rd was only percentage points below a Category X. Okay, so pretty close. Forecasters estimate an 85% chance of M flares continuing and a 20% chance of a full-fledged X flare. All right, the scale of the giant sunspot, that's how big it is on the face of the sun. So one of the biggest ones we've had in a minute here. You can come over here, finish the article if you want. We're going to move on to the Schumann. All right, so let's pull this up. You can see nice and clear here. No grinding, no scraping. We have had a little bit, maybe at the crustal level down below, but all in all, pretty smooth. Okay, good continuity, nice green line. Got a little weak here, a little weak there, but all in all, that's pretty good right there. So, all right, moving on to the School of the Null at nullschool.net. All right, as we pull this up really quick, zoom in here. Our intertropical convergence zone still shunted north. Okay, we have thermal activity on the ocean floor, probably shunting this north. I don't think the planet axis has shifted that much yet to where we would see this moving that high yet. Well, we'll see. Now, our storm levels and vortexes, you can see a couple of rotations out here in the Pacific getting ready to move through. Meanwhile, we got this strange setup here on the west coast. Let those winds move for a minute there. Okay, so we got the weird kind of setup going again. Some of these storms going up through there. Again, with this flow coming right at Ireland and England and everything, so watch out there. All right, that's good enough. Let's put up our sandstorm report. All right, take off the wind. All right, now as we look around really quick, you can see big, intense plume blowing off of Africa, going across the Atlantic Ocean, and landing on South America there, covering South America, actually going across into the Pacific a little bit too. Note the Andes Mountains running through there. Really, it's having trouble getting over it. All right, there's Jimmy. So we rotate around to this side. You can see we still have, sand and dust widespread across Europe, Asia. Okay, the eyes are a little different tonight, but there's clearly one right there. All right, so there's your sandstorm report. Now let's get into our SO2. This is sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide, okay? Big difference. This is basically vaporized magma. And the pressure down below getting so strong that it wants to push magma out through the crust. Well, it can't push up through all these small little vents, so the SO2 emits instead. All right, there we go. So here we are, your country divided, one side bleeding out over here. Whoops, there's a mouse. One side bleeding out over here, very porous crust, a lot of pathways to the surface, so it just oozes SO2. Meanwhile, whoops, on the left here, we have the west coast and mountainous region, more granite and mountains and stuff, so any of your SO2 emissions are from a volcanic site or volcanic in nature. There we go. Now there's your country divided. Click on some fires here really quick. Bio fires. What's wrong with this mouse, man? Okay. As we kind of sneak on in here, I don't see much fire activity. That's good. That's good. Before we were having fire activity up in Canada in the middle of huge cold snap. All right. It's like 20 below zero, and they're having raging wildfires because of SO2 emissions, okay? It's not because it's fire season. All right, meanwhile, looking down the west coast, you can see it's starting to fill in here with new emission sites. We had LA and the fires there. We had San Diego and the fires there. Mexico is also experiencing fires from this activity as well. All right, let me take the fires off. So good news to report. No fires tonight. Meanwhile, Mexico filling in. You see Cuba, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Virgin Islands, top of South America, going all the way down. These are all individual sites. Okay, this isn't a plume of gas that's blowing down the coast. These are all little perforations in the crust. Okay. And we come down to the fulcrum point on the plate boundary that's offshore here. Well, there's also a fulcrum point on land, and that's the weak spot. And there's our little fulcrum point. Strong emissions tonight. I usually check these 5 spots as our little gauge. The top one still well organized and very dark. Okay, so there's still kind of strong emissions coming out of there. Still some pressure that's built up under there. As we come on down, you can see strong emission sites blowing this gas out into the Pacific, making a little medium-sized plume tonight. Okay, coming on over to Hawaii. Check in on the hub of the Pacific Rim, much like a bicycle rim. Well, the Pacific Rim has a hub, and there it is. And SO2 emissions out of Oahu and Maui now. Look at Maui's really upticked right there. And of course, coming out of Kilauea here, you got a erupting volcano there. So, that right there. Yeah, there we go. Now, as we come on over to this side of the world, let's back up for their time zone. Bing. All right. As you can see, the bruise on the face of the planet here, China, darkening in. You got all kinds of strong emissions. You got, well, so much that's blowing out into the Pacific and kind of masking the emissions coming out of Taiwan here. But you can see Taiwan still having its emissions. We come up, there's Japan. That's a volcanic island system. So, of course, it's going to have SO2. As we pull back, you can see all of Russia just peppered with this. All over the place, the whole world. India darkening in, following suit of China here. You can see that the wind pushes this gas up against the Himalayas, and they're so high it doesn't make it over, so it gets trapped in the same little circular rotation there, and darkening in intensity. Now, over here, Middle East, it's spreading all over the place over here. Okay, you got methane emissions too as well, which is a flammable gas. So methane hits the air, it's already at thousands of degrees, hits the air and bursts into flame. So you're seeing sulfur dioxide emissions as well as methane emissions over here. Meanwhile, there's Europe. Okay, you can see Iceland got a good plume going from its volcano. So this is pouring out of the ground on every continent. Okay, I want to come over here. We're going to check on Java here because Java is like one of our relief valves on the plate boundary system here. So a lot of SO2 emissions coming out of this region. It's venting the pressure the best it can. We have Semeru, also a volcano on this island that's just 15,000 foot blast every day. Also, want to come over here just real quick. See, Australia has its thing. We have Fiji in our deep quake region. Okay, and then we have this, this boat-shaped, pencil-shaped island here on the plate boundary system with a couple of SO2 emission sites. It kind of relieves pressure in the region, keeping quake activity and quakes down on the magnitudes down on the plate boundary. Okay. Then you got your deep quake region, of course, Fiji emitting SO2. It's a volcanic island. And then out here we have a new island called Home Reef. Okay, it was a seamount that grew so tall that it broke the surface of the water and became an island. All right, so we got a new island, the Home Reef seamount, now volcano. We also have the axial seamount that's going on up by Oregon. Okay, one of these days it could follow suit and build so tall that it makes it to the surface and make a new island. Okay, a lot of volcanic activity in that region right there, keeping some of this at bay. All right, moving on. Let's get her done. Let's go to, where we go? Oceans? Actually, really quickly, let's check our polar vortex here. Oh, let's put the wind on too. Not the same without the wind. There we go. All right, as you can see, it's not perfectly round. It's more oval shaped or whatever. We don't have any sub-vortexes that are pinching it off or directing it anymore. So I would expect it to probably start to get more circular fashion. We'll see here. Okay, but this bigger side is draped down over Asia. Meanwhile, over here, North America, you can see it's kind of the curve where it rounds off. Okay, and you can see here we have this little low down here that's peeling stuff away and driving cold air across that eastern part of the country here. All right, so your polar vortex still reaching down into the eastern side of the country, even driving as far south down to here, down into Florida and stuff. So we're gonna have to watch the weather carefully here. All right, now let's get back to our oceans. Sea surface temperature anomalies for today, yesterday. Yeah, for the second right there. Okay, so this mouse is going to have to go. All right, so zooming in here to the west coast, you can see things have gotten a little better. More cold water inundation along the coast. We did have hot water all along the coast a month ago. So now you look, and a lot of this is receded. There's a little finger type structure starting to point up at the Bay Area region. Okay, but all in all, it still looks cold water inundation. And look up here at Oregon. All that red that was in here inside the Juan de Fuca plate is now diminished. There's a couple little patches. You can see right where the seamount is still glowing. But all in all, a little change in temperature out there. Okay, we got a 3-spot going on up here in your Gulf of Alaska. So right off of this island, there's a new opening on the ocean floor. There's the regular one, and then now we have another new opening down here off of these islands. So a little change we've had since we last talked. Okay. Look at this. Going up into Korea, all around Japan. We come here to Taiwan, the fulcrum point on the plate boundary system. We have an opening just north of Taiwan that's been relieving pressure for a minute now, and it's keeping earthquake activity and magnitudes down at the fulcrum point. Also, we've had a little encroachment on this side of heat and pressure. See it on this side? Now that's causing earthquake activity along this plate boundary over here. So no more fulcrum point quakes because of this. New quake activity because of this. Coming on down. Oh, dude. You can clearly see that. Now I want you to remember this when it comes out of the ground down there. It could be hot mud. It could be, water, steam, SO2, whatever it is creating heat. And instead of that heat just blossoming down there at pressure, it rises in a column type structure. It doesn't just diffuse out. It rises in a column type structure. And when it hits the surface tension makes it blossom. And there's your blossom head from an open sea mount on the ocean floor right there. A new one. Then you can see this area heating up. Okay, we come into the Fiji region. There's your pencil-shaped island. And note it's kind of cooler around the island because it's relieving pressure. Looking around Australia, we still got this huge thing out here that's kind of spread more over this way, trying to kind of connect with this one over here off of South America. This event over here on South America, these openings on the ocean floor, relieving so much pressure that it's keeping earthquake magnitudes and activity down, as well as the SO2 emissions are keeping earthquake activity down too. So you got two different ways of venting pressure here, out on the ocean floor here, and then SO2 as well, both contributing to keeping your magnitudes down and your quake activity down. Really quick, let's go into the Gulf of America here. You still got these two spots. This one's still kind of the same in size. what I noticed is going on down here. Look at this cold water surrounded by hot water. We'll probably see some rotation around that area pretty soon. What else? We also got this side of South America really quick. You can put the winds on for that. Whoops, 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 whoops. There we go. Not the winds, I wanted the currents. All right, these are water currents, not wind. Now you see the cold water come right up to the hot water. See this intersection right here? They slam into each other and then head out over to this hot water. So no rotation here because they're just slamming straight into each other. But you can see rotation around all these little hot spots. Let's come over to Africa here, where you can see this current goes from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. So you're either hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, it'll spit you out. So from currents back to wind, and let's do our conveyor belt type structure reports, starting over the west coast here. All right, I'm going to let that sit there for a second. Now over hot water, warm air forms, over cooled water, cold air forms. You got hot air rising, cold air sinking in, racing in to replace it. So it creates rotation, and here's your rotation activity. All because of your hot spots. And let's bring it up here just a little bit. Let's see what's going on right there. Whoops, that's the polar vortex. There we go. So now you can see your rotation because of the hot cold. I had the wrong setting there. All right, let's take a look at what's going on over on this side of the world. Look how this rotation here going counterclockwise, or clockwise, sorry. And then you got this rotation going counterclockwise. They're feeding together, driving stuff right into that region. So everybody in Europe, or Ireland and England, gonna get another round, it looks like. Here up by Iceland, you can see we've got, let's go here. Okay, so there's all kinds of crazy rotation going on because of your heat plumes on the ocean floor. I want to take the wind off just really quick. Look here at Madagascar. We got little spots on both sides, one there, one on that side. Also, just kind of show you the Great Lakes really quick. Now, we usually don't report on the landlocked bodies of water because they don't get recycled and refreshed, so warm water can build up. But in this case, I have a feeling what we're seeing are real readings. This is a heat plume underneath the lake there. Something going on in the lake here causing hot water plumes. And then when we get these cold air blasts that drive down from Canada, it rushes over this warmer water that's up north. And you're having lake effect snow this year, a lot more so than usual because of those heat plumes. Also, this heat plume right here, let's put the wind back on that one. I want to see what direction they're going for right now. As of the second. Okay, so right now you can see some of this is kind of stagnant and just sitting there. Most of the air that's going up through the country is being drawn from over here. So right now you're getting drier air being drawn up into the country. So this isn't contributing a bunch of moisture up in there. Well, as of the second, that was because this is a day behind. So that might change. But not really contributing too much moisture into that region. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. But you can see there's your the direction of your winds for right now. Okay, take the wind off, leave the map sitting, and let's go to our earthquake report. All right, USGS, here we go. So let's change this up for your viewing pleasure. All right, here we go. Come here. Starting in your deep quake region over here, Fiji. Okay, pressure building up so much so in the area. We've had a plate boundary quake, or right at the start right here, with a 5.5. Okay, usually we're seeing a 5, or maybe 5.1 or 4.9, you know how they do that. So that's a half magnitude uptick right there at the very beginning of the plate boundary system too. This island not relieving enough pressure, and now we're starting to see quakes at the surface right there. 5.5 there. Over on this side, a 5.1 at the surface at 8.4. So you got an uptick in magnitude at the surface, half magnitude uptick. Also, we got a 5.9 over here in Indonesia. What do we do with nines in this place? So higher end 5, maybe even a 6 there. This little guy down by Java is a 4.7 down at 10. As we come up into this region here, nothing going on today at Taiwan, okay? We've been seeing quake activity along the backside of that. But up here, we have a 5.4 at Japan down at 36. So that's a little deeper at your volcanic activity at a volcanic site. All right. Over here in Africa, 4.8, Tunisia, probably, yeah, it looks like it could just be fault systems and structure. Let's come over here, and we're going to talk about this event. Okay. Oops. Here in Greece, we've had quite the earthquake event going on here. All right, so just today we've had, let's start up here. Bingo, you've got a 4.9 at the surface. These are all surface quakes. 5.1, 4.9, 5.0, 4.0, 4.4, 4.4, 5.1. So a couple of 5.1s there. 4.9, 4.6. Okay, so this isn't like one big quake and then a bunch of little aftershocks, or one big quake and then a quake swarm after it. This is some, medium-sized, mid-range 4 to 5 quake right there. And now they're evacuating people from that area, and they have a feeling that volcano's going to go off there, okay? So we'll have to keep an eye on this area. In fact, the other night when I reported, we had just seen our first quakes out of this region, and I had noted, hey, we'll have to watch for further activity in there because that's like a new path of least resistance here. And coming into this island, here's your volcanic island with all of these quakes at the foot of this island, at the flank of this island. Little one further up there, but most of them are right around this island here. So we'll watch out for a volcanic blast maybe coming out of this island right here. All right, now let's move on. We had this one in Tunisia. We already checked that. Also, brand new here, South America, 4.6. Also, out where we're having this leakage out on the ocean floor here. Let's come back to South America. Okay, so you got your opening vents, probably surrounding area has little open vents, little seamounts or whatever that are. Then you got magma coming out of the plate boundary right there. this zipper that reaches down to the bay was bleeding magma or hot water or whatever, and so much pressure in that region that this isn't enough, that now we're having earthquakes there. That's our highest magnitude quake out in that region since all this started. So finally we're seeing a little uptick in magnitude out here as well. So when it's been quiet and the pressure, hasn't been doing the job, well, now check it out. You're starting to see it do the job, and it's getting to the surface here. We also have a 5 on the mid-Atlantic ridge right there. All right, let's go into America. America is back. All right, let's go. Starting over here, no fulcrum point quakes as we come into this region. You remember we had an uptick in magnitude out here the other day? Well, when we come over to Alaska here, that's because in that region we have this new pressure, so much pressure in the region that it's busted through, and now we have a vent and continuing pressure in the region, so much so that we're starting to see upticks in magnitude with a 4.3 right there, a very current quake right here, 4.2, so that's a new one. So same kind of magnitude there, 4.3, 4.2. You look up through your fulcrum point area, you can see there's a little bit of activity, just minor ones. Something right there, just a small one. Now, coming into Washington area, just little microquakes, nothing at the volcanoes today. That's kind of what I was looking for. We got one little fulcrum point quake, 3.4. Remember, there's a bunch of cold water in this region. Pressure been kind of relieved in the area, and now we're seeing 3.4 magnitude, just one. The geysers doing their job, keeping magnitudes down in the bay, 2.2, 1.8. A little bit of activity along the San Andreas. Also, this eyeball type acorn shape structure, whatever you want to call it, very quiet. A little bit of activity offshore, but there's no heat plume in that area, so magnitude's down to 1.5 that you can't even feel. Oh, let's go over here. Bingo. A 3.1 here in Wyoming. Okay, there's Yellowstone up there. It's more South Wyoming. Man-made perforations in the crust here. Very small magnitudes. 2.9. 1.5. Fulcrum point quake again today on the New Madrid. 2.1. And then we got these ones going on up here. A 3.1 in Oak Hill, and no depth on that one. And a 2.8 in Reno, Ohio. I didn't know there was a Reno in Ohio. Where'd you go? Yeah, here's your diverse quake. No kind of fault structures or volcanic features around. So pressure in the region pushing to the surface, causing diverse quakes in places that they shouldn't be, or there's no indicator because of a fracture zone or anything like that. Another one here, that's your 2.8 in Reno. So two little oddball quakes here. Yeah, I don't see anything around. Okay, so two diverse quakes in America today. Like almost like a sign or something, huh? Diverse quakes. We did the fulcrum point one there, just a quick little magnitude. Nothing on the Cocos plate today, and your magnitudes are at 2 out here. So good news to report, a little bit of pressure being relieved. A little bit of bad news is it's all coming out of this region, so they're evacuating people as this activity increases in intensity. And let's just do a 7-day all magnitude right there. Okay, since this event began, a couple of days ago. Here we are with all the quakes, magnitudes. So quite a little event all going on, just offshore of this island, kind of right around it. So everybody pay attention. There's scary stuff going on out here, and they're evacuating people. Okay, now let's go into, that's it. Yeah. Let's do a volcano report now. So all this pressure down below causing volcanoes to just go off crazy. 38 and 38 is 176. So we have 176 volcanoes that are active, if not already currently erupting. So 7 years ago, when all this stuff started happening to me, we had one volcano. And if I'd have told you back then, hey, we're headed towards the end times, there's going to be 76 volcanoes in 7 years, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here we are, 76 volcanoes, and I'm still crazy about you. Now let's move on. Okay, scrolling on in, Shibaluge. That's Ebu, I be with you, and a big old red cloud in the sky. Is that a face? Turn your head to the left. Yeah, let's move on. Shibaluge erupted, 12,000 feet. Ebu, I be with you. We could read more, but we're at 9,100 feet. That's a little uptick. Samaru, no report. Santa Guido, no report. Nevada del Ruiz, Songay. Reventador, 14,000. And that's just in the last few minutes, because here's today, which is now yesterday, because time flies at this channel. The map of insanity. This map should not exist, but it does, and it's real. All the red ones currently erupting. All the yellow ones are active. Even though it says the word minor, they are definitely active, okay? We got Bartabunga, Svarensky, so 2 of them on Iceland. We got these ones coming to life out here on the Aleutian chain. We might see one of these erupt because we saw that increase in pressure out there. There's your Kilauea, don't forget, New Island Home Reef, South America, Michael. We got all this activity along the plate boundary system through here, Java region. So, and don't forget, you got a currently erupting volcano on the continent of Antarctica. So there's your overall quake swarm activity that's been going on here at this region. Now it's started off lower magnitudes. It's actually jumping and climbing in magnitudes. These last 3 yellow circles are indicating magnitude 5s now. So it started off with magnitude 4s and increased, and now a 5. So increasingly likelihood of eruption. It's still climbing. That's pressure right there. Pressure came way down, and just keeps climbing and climbing. Oops. We had a little earthquake or something, relief of pressure, so it went down, but then it built up, started climbing again. So reasoning for your possible volcano going off there. The graph plots, portrays, models, calculations of magma accumulation beneath Svarensky over time. The x-axis, we don't need to know about that. But snowy cap peak, and it's not clouds, that's ash coming off the top of that mountain. Samaru, Ashen. It's deep. Oh. So, here we go with Santorini. The earthquake swarm, which, yes, it is. It's a swarm, all right, of magnitude 4s and 5s. So, the earthquake swarm that's northeast of the island of Santorini continues, and it has been intensifying with more than 2,000 quakes having been recorded in the past 48 hours. No wonder why. 2,000 quakes. While it consistently and mainly of smaller quakes, magnitudes of around 2 and 3 barely noticeable in the first days of ongoing crisis that had started on January 27th, is now includes frequent felt quakes and reaching magnitudes 4 and 5. Okay. She's smiling at you. All right, Svarensky. Bizamani, 4,000 meters, 1,200 feet, or Sakurajima, 6,000. Ibu, no report. Samaru, again with no report, probably 15, 14 or 15. Santa Guido with 14. Songay at 19. Okay, and there's your list of insanity right there. They probably can't tell you this on the news because people would either freak out or just think it was a joke. There's no way there's 76 active volcanoes. Yeah, there is. And the lists keep growing longer and longer and longer. It's not like they stop and recede and get smaller. The list just continues to grow. Okay, so there's your volcano report. All because of the uptick in pressure down below, we get volcano activity to relieve that pressure. Volcanoes and earthquakes, hot water plumes, and then we get into our weather. All that volcanic activity contributing ash, particulates to the air. We also have the warm or the hot water emissions on the ocean floor evaporating more water into the air. Okay, so tidbit time, everybody. Put your hands out. Let's get your tidbits for you guys who like models. Oh, sorry, they're forecast models. All right, here we go. So very strange weather these days, very intense weather because of added water in the air. Okay, we got added water, added ash, particulates that makes raindrops, more raindrops, higher cloud tops, crazier weather. So as we're current conditions of severe weather hitting Northern California, I'm on the other side of the Sierra Nevadas right now, and we're having 70-mile-an-hour gusts. So it's getting intense here. Now, as we go into the morning hours of the 4th, still with the West Coast, severe weather there through the noontime. Convection getting even more so. Whoops, back up. Severe weather offshore approaching land. You could possibly see water spouts making landfall. Meanwhile, blizzards, snow, all kinds of crazy weather. Let me even zoom in just once here that I can. Right up here, this little feature of intense weather in the snow, you could see possible thunder snow because a thunderstorm was snow on the backside right here. So you could possibly see thunder snow in this event. Okay, let me pull back a little bit. All right, so moving on. Whoops. So this is the convection. There's the nighttime of the 4th. All right, severe weather hitting the mountains then. All right, they're calling for a lot of snow in the Sierras, so don't go over the Sierras. Whoops, out. All right, so now we're into the morning of the 5th. Okay, you can see our secondary low wrapping up in here, driving deeper snow down into there. So there's your noontime the 5th. Convection. Now we're having an ice storm event. You got cold air sliding underneath this warm air right there. There's your ice storm at the nighttime of the 5th, intensifying in the morning hours, still there at noon, and then dissipates and goes offshore by the nighttime of the 6th. Meanwhile, another round of snow or another round of weather for the West Coast there. Ah, dang it. Sorry. Bear with me. I have to get back up there. So. So there's your ice storm moving offshore. Okay, night of the 6th, morning of the 7th, West Coast, noon, convection, nighttime. Hey, come back here. There's the nighttime of the 7th. Morning of the 8th. Here we go. This is another event that could possibly catch people off guard here. Let me get this a little bit better. So, morning of the 8th, ice storm. Intensifying by noontime. Okay, so everybody in this region, get ready for another storm, another round of icing, possible power outages. Don't go out and travel on the icy roads. Doesn't matter if you have four-wheel drive or not. There's the afternoon or the convection, I call it, of the 8th. There's the nighttime of the 8th. Oh, New York. Wow, right in that whole corridor right there. Nighttime of the 8th. Morning of the 9th. noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 10th, noon, convection. Oh, more ice at convection on the 10th. Nighttime, getting more intense, and then more back behind it. Then we have this severe weather wedge just drive right up behind it there. See how that happened? So what looks like a quasi-linear storm front right there. Noontime, the 11th. Wow. Convection, nighttime, morning of the 12th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 13th, noon, more icing again down there, convection, nighttime, morning of the 14th, noon, more icing again, convection, nighttime, morning of the 15th, noon, convection, nighttime. Another severe round for the West Coast right there. Look at that. Severe weather making landfall at the coast there. So, oh, stop it. I hate these things. All right, so there was your forecast models right there. Go ahead and play this loop. Severe weather moving through the West Coast, causing icing on the East Coast. Severe weather moving into the West Coast, causing icing on the East Coast. Severe weather coming up from the south, causing icing going out the East Coast again. Okay, so round after round of the icing events there on the East Coast, which is going to just make things hard. It's going to knock out power, create travel problems, everything. So everybody brace for these winter storms. Here we go. Okay, so that's it for our astrophysics, geophysics, weather. Let's do our spiritual report, or some people call. Oh, wait. Gotta get rid of that. Gotta get rid of that, too. All right, let's pull up a few things here really quick. Mr. VMBB getting really popular right now because of all the flashing lights all around the world. Okay. And all the fog videos that are coming in and stuff too. Whoopsie. I want that right where we had it. Pause. All right. Get that pulled up. I want the chat in there. There we go. So 7 years ago on, September 10th of 2017, my life changed. It went upside down, inside out. Oh, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And the craziest part is nobody believed me. And I'm like, well, I documented it. I got video of it. We're not even going to look at that. We're not going to entertain your delusions. And I'm like, whoa, these aren't delusions, folks. You need to pull head out of ass and go take a peek at what I discovered. You really do, for your own good. But finally, I found some people that'll listen. And that's you guys. So you must be my family. Let me just get this pulled up just a little more zoomed in here. I think it's coming up right. There we go. All right, just pulling up some images for our spiritual report for your... I'm not even going to say it because people get the wrong idea. What was the other image we wanted to pull up? Oh, it wasn't that. It was this. Here we go. Bear with me. Having some issues tonight, but we're getting there. I have to get a different mouse. This one's not cooperating too well tonight. All right, pulling up some photos for our spiritual report. Let's go into the album. Very good. So there we go. I keep bringing this one up because this is the most important event that has happened in 2,000 years right here. Okay, all your other headlines are dwarfed by this right here. Okay. So this is a very important image right here. All of these. This is an event that took like an hour. Okay, and I got a bunch of pictures of it. And hopefully you can see Jesus in the clouds. Right there. All right, so let me get the light going. Ow! Oh. All right. Very painful process. You have to forgive me. Sometimes I get twinges of pain, so I just gotta roll with it too, you know. Just like you guys have to too. So go ahead of you as well as alongside you. All right, so we got some stuff for you today. I'm still hearing you guys out there, and you're doing awesome. You guys are trying it and finding results. So when you begin the day, remember, say a prayer, take on the day in a spiritual way. So when you begin a day or a task feeling inadequate, remember this: my grace is sufficient for you. So no matter what's going on, try to remind yourself that my grace is sufficient for you. The present tense of the verb is highlights the continual availability of my wondrous grace. Continual availability. Okay, that's a key thing for you guys as you're doing your spiritual work through the course of a day. Whoops. Let me get that back in there. Hang on, let me get this camera back in there. Trying to get, why is it doing that? Right there. My bad. Yes, I too experienced technical difficulties. All right, now, I go alongside you, I go ahead of you, I take these notes so I can translate this valuable information back to you. Okay, so when you're feeling inadequate, remind yourself that my grace is sufficient for you. You have continual availability to that grace. So don't waste energy regretting how weak you feel. Instead, embrace your insufficiency. I know it sounds crazy, but embrace it. When, like, I have a lot of pain, right? But I embrace the pain. Therefore, it doesn't hamper me. I can continue on. I don't let it stop me, right? So don't waste energy regretting how weak you feel. Embrace your insufficiency, embrace your pain, embrace your affliction, rejoicing that it helps you realize how much you need me. It makes you realize how much you need me, okay? So don't waste energy regretting how weak you feel. That's the blessing. When you're feeling weak, when you're in pain, that's a blessing. It sounds weird, but you're overcoming it. It's an obstacle that's there that you're overcoming, okay? So you got to look at it from that perspective. Then you can embrace your pain, knowing that each step you take, you're overcoming it and you're walking in glory. If you're in pain and each step you take, well, you're managing to walk while still in pain. So you're walking in glory, basically. You understand how that works, right? Okay. So, stop regretting how weak you feel. You got to change your mindset. Hey, I feel weak. This is a blessing because I'm still moving, even though I'm weak. You're actually in miracle land right there. Okay. You're outperforming what you usually would, right? So, and that's how you're growing stronger too. And rejoice that it helps you realize how much you need me. So come to me for help and delight in my infinite sufficiency. Infinite sufficiency. That's infinite sufficiency. My power is made perfect in weakness. Okay, well, then you're feeling weak. Oh, that's a perfect opportunity for me to help. See, I have to have opportunities to help you, and those weaknesses are those opportunities for me to help you. Okay? Now you're starting to see how this works and see how I get joy out of helping you. So you have to have a weakness that I can step in and help you with. And then we both get joy out of it. So come to me for help and delight in this infinite sufficiency. My power is made perfect in your weakness. So as you go about the day in joyful dependence on me, you will be surprised by how much you can accomplish. Moreover, the quality of your work will be greatly enhanced by your collaboration with me. Ponder the astonishing privilege of living and working alongside me, because that's what you're doing now. That is exactly what you guys are doing. If you're, I know you guys are. Oh boy, I got that connects to this. So, yeah, each day and each task as you go through the day, do it with joyful dependency on me, and you'll be surprised by how much you accomplish, and you can actually find joy in your tribulation as well. The quality of your work is greatly enhanced by our collaboration. So, ponder the astonishing privilege of living and working alongside me, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Seek to align yourself with my will, making yourself a living sacrifice. Well, you're sacrificing your time to be at this part of the show right now. Nobody else will give me 5 minutes of their time, but you do. So there is your sacrifice right there. So you make yourself a living sacrifice. Seek to align yourself with my will. That makes you a living sacrifice. This is a form of worship, and it pleases me, and it also makes your life meaningful and joyful, doesn't it? Now there's meaning in your life. Now there's actual joy even in your adversity. Because my power is made perfect in your weakness, in your adversity as well. Seek to align yourself with my will, making yourself a living sacrifice. That's a form of worship, and it pleases me. It also makes your life meaningful, joyful. You have hope and courage now. And this is just a tiny foretaste of the immense, incredibly glorious joy that awaits you in heaven. So, here, let's see here. We could go to this one, I guess. So, we're doing this thing as hide and seek type thing. You're seeking me, right? You're always kind of seeking. When's it coming on? You're always seeking. So, as you seek me, I encourage you to rejoice and be glad in me. Okay, it's kind of hard to do at this time of the year when everything's getting all crazy, but I encourage you to rejoice and be glad. Take time to praise me in songs and psalms. Take a moment, wrap your head around, think about who I am. I dwell in splendor, majesty, and beauty. Then remember how I left the glory of heaven and came into the world so I could bring you into my kingdom of everlasting light and life. Okay, again with that. Remember, I left the glory of heaven to come into this world. I could bring you into the kingdom of everlasting life and light. All of this helps you to be joyful in me as your Savior. This joy ushers you further into my holy presence. You're in the holy presence right now, right? So this also helps you be joyful. This ushers you into the holy presence, helping you draw nearer to me. And as this nearness that we're working on, this friendship that we're growing here, as this nearness gives you even more reason to rejoice. this relationship that we're building here. You hear my voice, you see my face here. Being joyful blesses not only you, but other people. Okay? In these days where things are getting harder and harder, right? Being joyful blesses not only you, but other people. So your family and friends will benefit from your gladness or your strength, your courage, which can rub off on them. So the hope, strength, and courage that Jesus brings to me, I bring you that same courage, hope, and strength. Then you take that to somebody else and you bring them that same courage, hope, and strength. Right? So it's infectious. And once we get started, it just keeps going. So you got to remember, being joyful blesses not only you, but other people. Your family, everybody's going to benefit from it. You can also influence many people beyond your inner circle with your gladness, with your joy. So it's not just the people you interact with, you can influence beyond your inner circle. So when my followers are joyful, that's like you guys who follow here at YouTube, right? That would make you a follower. So when my followers are joyful, unbelievers are more likely to be drawn to me. That's why. That's why. When my followers are joyful, unbelievers are more likely to become believers. Joy shines in stark contrast to your ever-darkening world, and some people will ask you about it. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks the reason for your hope. Always be ready to give an answer. Okay, so get this too. A lot of you guys are starting to relieve your stress by casting your cares on me, on Jesus. You let it go, right? Cast your cares on me, and I will sustain you. Carrying your own burdens is wearing you out. Your shoulders are not designed for carrying heavy loads, so I want you to learn to cast your burdens on me. The first step is to recognize that something is weighing you down. Aha. Something, you got to recognize when something's weighing you down. Every once in a while, we got triggers, right? You got to recognize what your triggers are. Those are the things that would be weighing you down. So recognizing what your triggers are, so you're aware of what's bringing you down. Recognizing something that is weighing you down is very important. Once you've recognized it, then examine the difficulty to determine whether it's yours or somebody else's. Because a lot of times we're tripping over somebody else's stuff. It's not even yours. So you got to determine whether it's yours or someone else's. If it isn't yours, simply let go and leave it behind. If it is your problem, then talk with me about it. Don't hide, don't run away, don't try to pretend or that doesn't exist. Talk with me about it so we can fix it. Okay? I will help you. I will help you see things from my perspective, and I will show you the way forward. So, if it isn't yours, let it go. But if it is, talk with me about it. I will help you see things from my perspective. When you see things from up here, looking down at this little planet, running around little people all over it, when you see from this perspective, oh, your little things are smaller now. All your adversity is disappeared from this perspective now. Examine the difficulty, determine whether it's yours or not. Very important. If it is, talk with me about it. Don't let that stuff, don't bury it and try to, forget about it. Talk with me about it. I'll help you see it from my perspective, and I will show you the way forward. Be prepared to take action as needed, but don't let problems weigh you down by becoming your focus. Okay? You can concentrate on them, but don't let them weigh you down. That's the whole burden that people are having a problem with, is letting it get to them. So cast your cares on me. Don't try to carry the burden yourself. Give it to me. Let go of it. Talk with me about it. I'll help you see it from my perspective and show you the way forward. Be prepared to take action. Don't let your problems weigh you down. Don't let them become your focus, because then your problems become an idol. Make a concerted effort to cast your cares on me, for I have strong shoulders. Then simply do the next thing in joyful dependence. You have 2 shattered shoulders, all right? Torn rotator cuffs. Oh, man, my hands are going numb from it, all right? But my shoulders still work. I'm still using my arms. Even though it's painful, I still overcome it because I have strong shoulders. So give me your cares. Cast them on me. I have strong shoulders. I embrace the pain. I know what to do with it. I overcome it and then go from glory to glory. Make a concerted effort to cast your cares on me. I have the strong shoulders for it. Then simply do the next thing in joyful dependence. Okay, so once you've casted your cares, move forward in joyful dependence. Also, be encouraged by my promise to sustain you. Okay, times are tough. They're getting weird. We're gonna have issues with supplies and stuff. So when that starts to happen, don't forget, I will supply all your needs according to my riches in glory. I supply your needs in glory. Okay? So, be encouraged by my promise to sustain you, to hold you up and provide what you need. I will supply all your needs according to my riches in glory. Okay? I will help you overcome your adversity. And that's when you're aware of my presence, okay? Awareness of my presence is very key to all of this. The world's changing because of my presence, okay? Even though the people that are changing the world don't know of my presence, my mere presence changes things. It changes the clouds. My presence causes UFO activity. My presence does all kinds of stuff, okay? But it's about my presence. So you have to have awareness of my presence. That's the best part of this show, is when you get awareness of my presence. And to increase your awareness of my presence, you need to learn the art of self-forgetfulness. You were not designed to stay focused on yourself. Adam and Eve's disobedience in the Garden of Eden made selfishness the natural bent of mankind. Okay? So we're all naturally born selfish. This inclination is a deadly trap, but I've equipped you to live supernaturally. And since the moment you asked me to be your Savior, you have had my spirit growing and living in you. That's me you're feeling inside you. I'm growing. I'm getting stronger inside of you. Okay? It's supernatural. You have the inclination for this world, but I've equipped you to live supernaturally. And since the moment you asked me to be your Savior, you have had my spirit living in you. Ask this holy helper to free you from your self-centeredness, to free you from your obsession of thinking about you. So your self-centeredness. You may pray as often as you like. There's no limit to how much you can pray. So you pray as often as you like. Some days I'm having a great day and I'm praying at all the little things, and other days I'm too caught up in the world, and I forget to pray for all the little tasks, because it's those little tasks that when you pray for them, they bring the joy. That self-centeredness has to go. You have to practice self-forgetfulness. We have to kill the ego. You are your own worst enemy. Your ego is your own worst enemy. So I got to help you with your worst enemy, you. And that's your ego. That's your self-centeredness. So we have to practice the art of self-forgetfulness. And it is an art. Okay? It's an art. You have to practice the art of self-forgetfulness, becoming more humble, forgetting about self, killing the ego. Back when I was going through this, okay, ego, the three letters EGO stand for edging God out, edging him out of your life, not including him in the task, not praying, no awareness of my presence, nothing, right? So the awareness of the presence is so vital. It helps you live humbly, helping you forget about yourself, and starting to practice the art of self-forgetfulness. Okay, so we're living supernaturally now. You're aware of my presence. We're using real prayer for real effects. The Holy Helper, which is the spirit of me inside of you, the Holy Helper, ask the Holy Helper to free you from self-centeredness, edging God out, kill the ego, and do it as often as you like. One thing that traps you in self-absorption is being overly concerned about how you look, okay? How you look in the mirror, mainly how you look in other people's eyes, okay? So quit obsessing about how you look in other people's eyes. Instead, make yourself the object. Instead of making yourself the object of your thoughts, gaze at me and be attentive to the people around you. Okay, so now we're tending to the people around us. Okay, so that helps you with the self-centeredness, is helping others. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I know one of the tools I use to help, salvage a day is helping someone else, because then they smile, oh, thank you. And then all of a sudden you feel a little better knowing that you've helped somebody. Okay. So don't be overly concerned about how you look in the mirror, and especially how you look in the eyes of others. If I had worried about how I would look in the eyes of others, I wouldn't be doing this show, and you wouldn't be seeing real miracles. So you see how important it is that you don't do that, okay? Ask the Spirit to help you look beyond yourself with eyes that really see. Okay, so again, you're seeing eyes that really see. Your Holy Helper, the Spirit inside you, helps you look beyond yourself. So you must be able to look beyond yourself and see this. If you can see this, you're probably doing a really good job at looking beyond yourself. So you're practicing those disciplines. That makes you a disciple by default. So now you're a disciple. Good job. What else do I have for this one here? Ask the Holy Helper to look beyond yourself with eyes that really see. So important that you look beyond yourself with eyes that really see, and know that you are safe in my everlasting arms and complete in my loving presence. Here, look at this. You are complete in this loving presence right here. See that love? Come here. See that heart right there? You know this is a cloud. You understand that this is a cloud that formed a perfectly shaped human who's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart that's radiating out. Okay, so you have the eyes that really see. So ask my Spirit to help you look beyond yourself. when you do that, you'll understand that you are safe in my everlasting arms and complete in my love. All right, before you weren't complete. I complete you. When you know that I'm here on this earth walking around in the flesh, that completes you. Now you know who you are and your identity. You are safe in my everlasting arms and complete in my loving presence. So turn your attention to trusting and loving me, and you'll have a happy, fulfilled, rich life. Okay? I think that's it for tonight. I still got to catch up on some rest. I've been going balls to the walls for a while now, so I have to take a little break and get some rest, but I'll try to make it back tomorrow. All right? I love you guys. This is the real thing. Okay? That's what gives you the real courage, the real hope, and the real strength is knowing that this is the real deal. Okay? I got Marian angels showing up on my security cameras all over my house. Revelation 12 baby born in my lower garage. It's all because of who I am. Okay? This is me. That's my face right there. And then there's this crown over it. So this is me coming with power and great glory in the clouds. So if you see this face in the clouds and you find it fascinating and intriguing and interesting, you're caught up with me in the clouds. And it takes you away from your circumstances for a while. And you forgot about the news of the day when we were doing the little report. You were relaxed. You were in my presence. So you're caught up with me in the clouds. We meet in the air of cyberspace. I can't come over to your house and give you a big hug right now. I would love to, but I want to meet my family. And the only way I can meet them is in the air of cyberspace. So you get caught up with me in the clouds. We meet in the air, where I've gone ahead and made a channel here at YouTube that where I am, you may be also. So you can come to my channel at any time, look anything up you want. You could be with me then too. It doesn't necessarily have to be live. That goes for people in replay too. Every single thing is timeless, whether you're watching it in replay or live. Okay? You are caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air so we could be together, right? The word rapture is not in the Bible. Everybody has these pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, rapture. It's not in there. The word rapture is not in there. That concept is not in there. You're not going to turn into a little ball of light and fly up into the clouds, and all the cars are going to crash and the airliners are going to crash. Actually, what's happening is the things that they talk about in the movies, like airplanes falling out of the sky, right? So the rapture kind of technically is happening. Planes are falling out of the sky, but it's not people disappearing into thin air. No. It says when you see things, signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, look up, look into your clouds. It gave you a good hint when he said, you'll see me coming in the clouds. Oh, I better look at the clouds a little closer. And good thing I did, because lo and behold, 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. That should blow everybody away. That's the biggest headline in human history, except for the first go-around. And you guys have access to it. This is like classified information. If the government had this, they'd classify this and clamp down on you. But you're caught up with me in the clouds, where we meet in the air, cyberspace. Okay? I sure love you. I sure miss you guys. I really wish I could come over and give you a hug right now, but I can't. All right? So just keep waiting patiently. We'll keep meeting in the air until the end, okay? And while you're patiently waiting, you're persistent in your walk, you're complete, but we're still doing more, okay? We're salvaging each day. Every day has a positive and a negative to it, and if you let it get you down, well, it ruins the rest of your day, and you wouldn't have smiled at that one person and brought joy to them. So it's important that you salvage your day. That means it started going south and you're getting irritable, angry, whatever it is. Take a break, take a few moments, say a few prayers, get caught up in something else that takes your mind off of it for a while. Then you are able to regain composure and go back out into the spiritual warfare again, right? Then another thing gets you down, but you don't let it get you down. You overcome it, you tackle it, and then the next one. So when you overcome this one, and then you overcome that one, and then you overcome that one, you get a glory and a glory and a glory. And you're going from glory to glory in your tribulation. Okay, your adversity, you're embracing it. You're embracing your pain and your adversity, knowing that in your weakness, you're made perfect. Okay, it's you're overcoming your weakness, even if it's painful. You're still pulling it off, aren't you? So that's how it works, and you grow stronger day by day by doing it too. I am just so thankful that you guys took a minute of your precious time to be part of this precious family. I went through many doctors, not lawyers, but judges and police officers. Not one of those people would take 5 minutes of their time or 1 minute of their time for their own damn good, because they wouldn't entertain the delusion. What if it's not a delusion? Then you're in deep shit. So I've had to deal with people not looking and not knowing because they too lazy or they don't believe or whatever. But for those who do, just give that little bit of time, you're justly rewarded, right? You're already getting glimpses into heaven, all right? Okay, is that it, Lord? Anything else you're gonna say? Okay, I think we're done. I gotta go. I sure love you guys. I sure miss you guys. I'm gonna get some rest and I will be back. I'm a man of my word. I told you I would be back. Well, ta-da! Man of my word. I'm back. So, you're caught up with me in the clouds. We will be back. I will return. I'm a man of my word. So, until my next stream, I'll be back. I love you all. Bye.